Welcome to the show. I'm Danella. Here's what's happening now. Coming to you a bit earlier this week. That's because I have to head out of town to record a new audio book. And the big news this week, everyone's talking about it. And for me, Christmas came a bit early in the form of Michael Cohen as well as Paul Manafort. We'll talk about that in this show. I mean, spectacular week for news. Also in our world, as you know, last week was Mommy's Week Alone with Baby. I survived. More importantly, he thrived. We'll talk about that because seriously, it definitely takes a village. But first, let's just kick off political pop. Everyone's still talking about it. How about indictment or impeachment? Everyone is wondering, what does it all mean? Paul Manafort found guilty and Michael Cohen. I mean, and this was major. This is a guy who said he'd take a bullet for Trump. This was his ally, not only his lawyer, but his fix-it man came out and pled guilty and is facing prison time. And in his plea, he never quite says Trump. He just refers to him as the candidate. But come on, we all know who is the candidate. So it is going to be very interesting in November. Ultimate saga. Will the Democrats take the House? Will the Republicans say enough is enough? Will we ignore the truth? Only time will tell. And you already know how I go. I anxiously await the truth to be revealed and action to be taken. I'm Danella Sealock, and that was your political pop. So that was major news this week. And I'm going to take a moment to really just thank you, all of you that listen each week, that watch each week, that support. I really appreciate it. I have to do a slight correction for last week. Shout out to Brooklyn 988. I accidentally spelled your name full out. You abbreviated, but I put the whole spelling, Brooklyn. So my bad. I swear I wish YouTube had more real names. I'm really Danella. My last name clearly isn't now, but it's like Danella right now. So anyway, I've already apologized through words, so I'm going to put it out here for those that don't read online. I spelled it incorrectly. Sometimes I just get too literal. But thank you so much again for your comments. Also, I have to give a huge thank you. This actually really shocked me and surprised me in the most beautiful way. Kushit Prince, again with the names. I hope I am saying this right. Kushit Prince, thank you so much. Here's what he did that was so sweet. He made a video and dedicated it to me. And literally, I'm watching this video and there's pictures of me that I'm like, how did he get this? Where was this? Where was I? He just went through the years and it was just really nice. Just seeing all of these experiences that aren't in top of mind. So it was so cool. And thank you so much for thinking of me and making such a beautiful, beautiful video for me. It really, really, really touched my heart and brought a smile to my face. I even showed it to my nephew and he was like, Auntie, where did all these pictures come from? I'm like, I know, but it's like crazy. You're watching it when you go through your old photos, right? And then you start to remember like, oh, right, I was there and this happened, or this was that one time. So it was just really, really nice. So often we can get caught up in the future of where we want to go, what we want to do, what our next goals are, that not only do we not take stock of our current situation and be really present in the now. In this case, it was great to look back and just see, steps and experiences that evolved into the moment that I am right now. So thank you so much for that. And for all of you that listen again, who watch again, thank you. I very much appreciate it. And if you're like Brooklyn 988 and you have something you want me to talk about or address, feel free to do so. Obviously, you can put it in the comments, or you can email Danella@DanellaNOW.com. Also on social media, you can at me as well. I respond there at DanellaNOW. Now, I'm going to take it back to last week. So I told you guys last week, when we get to this week, I made it through the whole, it ended up being 6 days. I know people are like, 6 days with your child, come on. But I also worked those days. So it was really kind of hard in this sense of, staying up to 2 a.m., just getting things done at night, and then getting up with him at like 6:30, and he's just like on, on. So let's talk about some of the lessons, and I'm putting it in our world. So this weekend in our world, it truly takes a village. And shout out to everyone who is raising a tribe on their own. I cannot even imagine. So let's first talk about some of the lessons that I learned. And it really helped me kind of come to terms and understand some of the things that I dealt with myself as a child and have seen in my family. So I grew up most of my life, with my mother as a single parent. And by her being a teen mom, I've said this before, my grandmother was really the maternal figure in our life because, right. So, because my mom had my sister at 16 and me at 19. Right. So that's like a big sister. So anyway, what I realized is that if you have your child or children and you have no breaks, it's like nonstop, go, 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 go. It can get frustrating, And so I was grateful to have this experience with him because it really changed our relationship, but then also helped me to kind of just see how blessed I am to have the support system that I have. First of all, to have a partner. Definitely people can do it on their own, and they do, and they are successful. I know for me, it would be, like worst case scenario ever, because I just feel for me, like it's helpful to have not only a checks and balance in this sense of, is this a good idea? Because this cat over here, his life is dependent upon this action, So not only is it good to have that checks and balance, but it's good to have a break. It's good for someone to step in. It's good for you to not always have to be like, oh man, I got a plan to go to the bathroom when he's sleeping, or it's a party in the bathroom. Don't touch that. It could kill you. Like, these are things that happen. So when that doesn't happen, meaning you don't have a support system with you, I can see how frustrating parents can be. I get it. And so I see why, you might see parents easily saying, hey, just watch this show. Just sit down, watch some TV. Go outside. I remember my mom used to say that a lot. Go outside. I'll see you when the street lights come on. That's where we were. Y'all still in the house? It's 10 o'clock. You should get ready to get outside, and I get it. It's like, do something activity wise, give us a break in the house. So that was a learning lesson. However, I also really was grateful for the opportunity to share, because there's so many moms and dads that spend hours and hours and hours at work, and they come home in the middle of the night and they miss this entire growth process that is happening, So I got to see it from the perspective of my husband. He'll come home late a lot, and then he'll only get about an hour with our son. And sometimes that in that hour is like preparing for bed, but when he comes home, it's also like, this is his first time home. So he would want to relax, get ready for work, prep yourself. And it's hard to balance all those things, your needs and also your family. So this makes me want to leave this country. I swear. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love my family. But part of me is like, man, I want to go to a country like Switzerland, or like other countries in Europe, or like anywhere that literally gets that your family, your community will help the world that you live in. So we have to support one another. And another reason why I really wanted to talk about this is in our world, because this week, some of you in Aiken school district there, I have a family member there, and she was telling me how the bus just didn't come. So she's waiting for the school bus to come to pick up her children, also children in the neighborhood. Bus just didn't come. So she's calling, doesn't hear a voicemail message saying, hey, the bus is running late or it's not going to come. Nothing. So she drops the children off and then she investigates. Like she finds where the transportation building is. They have it listed as a wrong address. She goes back to another address, finds it, and finds out that they're missing 6 bus drivers. And so they're just like, we are short 6 bus drivers. And so now the conversation is, what's happening with these bus drivers? Is there money to pay for them? Are you being able to pay for them? Or is it that you pay them so low? And then also she said that in her area, they have the worst school buses in the country as far as being the oldest. I didn't know that. And she was saying how Aiken has a lot of rich people there, but they just don't really, their community doesn't put money in their school system. And so she's just telling me, she's like, yeah, so I just pack the kids in my car and take them to school. And she goes, what am I going to do? Leave these other kids? I pack them all in and I drop them off. So my advice to her was, because she was just saying, I don't know what we're going to do. And I said, I think you should coordinate with other parents, right? And even if it's not you doing the coordinating, put it out there. Talk to the teachers. This is when, as a community, we all should come together. You all should come together, because it's not just you with the problem trying to figure out how to get your children to school. It's specifically tons of people. If you're down 6 bus drivers, okay, buses have about 30 kids on the bus. So come on. So anyway, when we were talking, I said, you're seeing this, especially, was it 2 weeks ago? I talked about in a podcast how in Colorado, they're reducing their school to a 4-day school week, primarily to save money. So what they're doing is adding on an additional 40 minutes per day, but no more. As of right now, Monday is no longer a school day. And so you have parents like, what do we do with our children? We still have to work a 5-day work week. And in some houses, at least a 5-day work week. So just as I was going through this experience, myself, on one end, I was just so grateful. Like, wow, I'm so grateful that I'm even able to spend this level of time. But then also having to we still got to work. Partly why the show's coming early is I had to shift work from last week to this week. So imagine if you are one person with multiple jobs and multiple children, and you have people looking like, well, what's going on in your house? So I just really am like, I get completely, you need a village. And this is our community. And if we kind of go at it alone, it's only so far you go. And this really is me, not pot calling the kettle black. This is me in the choir with you singing the song like, well, we gotta work together. Only because I have been such a loner for so long emotionally. Like, I really have, really, really have. So I've had friends, but when things get really tough, I would just, and I battle with it still, like close it in and not really reach out and say, hey, I need help, or hey, this is our situation. Yeah, I would just stay to myself. And so my advice to my family member was, don't keep this to yourself. You're not the only parent going through this. Remember what's happening in your school district. Remember that. And vote politicians in that actually talk about adding money or fundraisers or something for your school district. It's sad if you are from a rich area. I mean, South Carolina, come on. Them cats have old slave money. They do. And clearly they're sending their children to private schools, people with a lot of money. And they're like, who cares about the public school system? And this is what you have to remember when you're going to the polls and why you should go. In every single election that's there, you have to go. And it could be time consuming, annoying. Listen, I'm at home researching cats. They give us, you get the little booklet to see who's running, and I'm like, all right, who's all these like little offices? Let me look. I'm looking at everything and saying, okay, what are you looking for? And if you align with what I feel my community needs, you get my vote. If not, you're not getting my vote. And it's really important when you see these kind of situations. So, A, it takes a village. We know this. But B, we are the village. That's basically what I realized is we are the village. You are the village. So I encourage you, if you are somebody or you know somebody that's in a similar community where this is a problem, where you're seeing that your schools are underfunded and it's really hurting the children, I say somebody be the light. Spark the flame to create some kind of change in your community. Specifically, it's not just you. And it's when we kind of go at it alone, all the time, that nothing gets done. But when we band together for change, that's when anything is possible. Anything is possible. So the other thing that I wanted to bring up, parents, be responsible for your child. So one little kid, my son's pushing a car, like these little cars the kids drive at this play area. And this one kid comes over and just hits, like a bigger kid, hits a stick against the car. And, I say to him, hold on, please. Do not hit the car. That is not nice. And if you missed, you would have hit my son. So please don't do that. And he looked shocked at me. But I'm looking around like, who are your people? Where are they at? Who is your crew that's allowing you to run around like this? And what I was witnessing was a lot of people teaching their kids that you can do whatever you want and there's no consequences. I'm serious. You see nannies on the phone, kids eating dirt, and picking toys off the ground, and you're like, the baby's eating off it's okay. On the phone, right? You also see kids doing things with no consequences, right? And you guys know this is a no-hit house, right? I'm not yelling at my child, you better sit down. I'm not doing any of those things. I used to do you know what jacked up is? Do you know how to get jacked up? Yeah, I got jacked up like this, like that's jacked up. That's the house we grew in. Absurd. So that's what we grew up in. So I'm not saying do any of those things with your children, but I am saying teach them that their actions have consequences, right? Each action has a reaction. It can be positive or negative. It can be good or bad. And you have kids hitting and just being wild. And I'm like, okay, so that's the person that we're going to work with later in life, who treats his coworkers like crap. Right. Oh, that's that. I get it now. Oh, you're the person that thinks everybody has to cater to you all day. This is why you're so angry, because no one likes you. Right. Luckily, these aren't any of the friends of my son, but these were just some observations at splash parks, activity gyms, those places where random kids meet. I'm like, whoa, this is wild. And I'm in the suburbs. I'm like, come on, calm it down. All right, so those are my lessons. I learned so many more, but yeah, I just wanted to mention this to you guys, to just say, if it's you and you're in a school district, for example, and your school district is not doing what they need to do, band together. Even if it's 5 parents out of 20, 5 parents can make a change more than one parent can. 20 parents out of 80, come on. 20 of y'all, you guys are going to be impactful compared to just one parent. Compared to just one. and control your kids. Don't make me get hood. Sorry to yell. I'm saying, watch your kids. Watch your children. So we're going to get into martial arts soon. Right now, he's on soccer. I don't want him to get into boxing. I want him to learn, seriously, I want my son to learn that the best defense is not to fight. However, we have all had to have some fights. I was always the new kid. I was never in name brand clothes. Always like, oh, we gonna test her. And I would break it down. Glad those days are over. That's when I was younger. Woo, glad those days are over. But sometimes it's like, yeah, you might have to keep yourself safe. So to me, I'm like, he could learn martial arts because I wanted to be where he could just like touch a kid's shoulder or something. It's like, Timmy passed out. And I'll go to the school and I'm like, but what did Timmy do? That's my first question. I'm like, because I know this cat is not aggressive. What did Timmy do to get subdued? Don't be calling me. Call Timmy's parents. And that about wraps up the show. Thank you so much for joining me a bit early this week. Shout out to this guy, Q. I mean, this is a talented artist, producer. I've been proud to represent. New music out now. It's called The Green Tea Project. Congratulations to this guy, Q. As always, I hope you have an incredible weekend. And I will see you next week.